Welcome back to the Truth Factory. First, I want to thank all of the people who are supporting me on Patreon. Really appreciate that. If anyone out there likes these videos, a link to my Patreon and to my Twitter are down below. And I want to give a special thanks to the super duper friend of the show, David Benshovel. Thank you so much. Let's get into it. I was just working on a story about some leaked intelligence emails and I paused that because this story came up and it's super interesting. I'll probably still publish my other video about Ukraine collusion later, but for now let's dive into Elizabeth Beck's testimony that she gave on InfoWars. Now if you don't know, Elizabeth Beck and her husband own Beck & Lee Law Office and are the lawyers on the case against the DNC. They're also the ones who claim that Debbie Wasserman Schultz called them trying to snoop around using a voice changer, but Debbie Wasserman Schultz didn't block her number first because we all know DWS is a super genius. So Elizabeth goes on InfoWars and gives this huge rundown into everything she's been investigating. A lot of things she found we already know, but it's really vindicating to have a lawyer say it, and it adds a lot of credibility to what most people call conspiracies. Now, before someone tries to discredit her, saying that she's probably working with Trump as a distraction from the Russia thing, Elizabeth Beck and Trump actually hate each other from a past lawsuit about a weird breast pump issue. Anyway, she starts talking about these connections and she alludes to finding a legal link to organ harvesting operations. Her connections start with federal prosecutor Brenton Wisnet Jr., who was found dead on the beach with head injuries. He had been bludgeoned to death and his possessions were still on him. This was a hit, and it was speculated that he was involved in the DNC lawsuit. Elizabeth was asked to look into that from concerned individuals, and here's what she found. There is a Brenton Wisnet, J. Plotkin, and Jacksonville connection. J. Plotkin was the director of the state attorney's office in Jacksonville from 1993 to 2009. And Mr. Brenton Wisnet was not a Miami native, even though he had worked there and passed away in Debbie Wasserman Schultz's district. Brenton Wisnet Jr. was actually a native of Jacksonville, Florida, and worked as an assistant state attorney with the 4th Judicial Circuit from 2004 to 2007. In other words, Mr. Brenton Wisnet Jr. and Mr. J. Plotkin worked together at the state attorney's office at the same time. She says that there's a Jacksonville Mayo Clinic connection. The Mayo Clinic has a hospital in Jacksonville, Florida. There's a Mayo Clinic Judge Harvey E. Schlesinger connection. A lawsuit was filed in 2015 in federal court in Jacksonville against the Mayo Clinic in connection with an organ transplant case. The judge presiding over that case was the Honorable Harvey E. Schlesinger. There's a Judge Harvey E. Schlesinger, J. Plotkin, and Brenton Wisnet Jr. connection. J. Plotkin is Judge Harvey Schlesinger's son-in-law. Mr. Wisnet's body was recovered on May 24, 2017. On June 8, 2017, Judge Harvey threw out the case against the Mayo Clinic in Jacksonville on summary judgment. So we can assume that this was because he was scared for his family that was being threatened as they knew what happened to Mr. Wisnet, as his murder was obviously a statement to anybody else who could mess with them.
There would be consequences.
There is a Mayo Clinic Clinton connection. A number of hospitals, including Mayo Clinic and St. Vincent's, co-sponsored a launch event in Northeast Florida in connection with the Clinton Health Matters initiative. There is a Mayo Clinic high government officials connection. The numerous public trustees of the Mayo Clinic include Thomas J. Brokaw, quite possibly Tom Brokaw, Barbara P. Bush, Richard B. Cheney, possibly Dick Cheney, Senator Thomas A. Daschle, and Paul A. Volcker. So there have been some Bush, Clinton, and Cheney connections. The Mayo Clinic provides a full range of health services, including organ transplants, bone marrow transplants, blood transfusions, and genetic medicine. There is a Clinton Foundation Haiti connection. There is a Klaus Eberwein Haiti connection. Klaus Eberwein, a former Haitian government official, was found dead on July 11th of this year with a gunshot wound to his head. His dead body was found 7.5 miles away from Elizabeth Beck's office. There was Peter Smith, who had a Mayo Clinic connection. Mr. Peter Smith purportedly took his own life on May 14th in a motel in Minnesota called Aspen Suites. Aspen Suites is across the road from St. Mary's campus of of Mayo Clinic and is almost exclusively used by patients of the hospital. And of course, we know that he left a suicide note that said that there was no foul play whatsoever. And we know that he was searching for Clinton's emails. So the recent deaths were Peter Smith, May 14, 2017, Baranton Wisenet, May 24, 2017, Klaus Eberwein, dead July 11, 2017. Now, all three of these people were connected either by the Clintons or they were investigating the Clintons specifically. Now dead. These murders are blatant warnings. It's incredible that they believe that they can get away with a cluster of kills following Seth Rich. Moreover, what the fuck is their endgame with this? And now Elizabeth Lee Beck is scared that she might be next. I mean, in this video, she's visibly falling apart. And it's not surprising considering how close she's getting to the truth. Even her new Facebook status reads, our counsel Colin O'Brien is now getting anonymous callers talking about Colin's family and how federal prosecutor Baranton Wisenet washed up dead on Hollywood Beach, same county as Colin. We are sitting ducks. And what I found most terrifying in this video was her body language. She's obviously distraught, but look how her eyes bug out at 8:53 when Owen says organ transplant.
The organ transplant. An organ transplant. And that just makes me scratch my head. Why would there be a tie into an organ transplant? Is this stuff that goes on at the Mayo clinics down there?
And then again at 9:20 when Owen says black market organ transplants.
Organ transplants, black market even perhaps, maybe there was something there.
These are the only times in the entire video that her eyes bug out, so I don't think it's just a twitch. This is like when they say blink once for yes, blink twice for no, that they use for people in comas. She is communicating, yes, this is what is happening, but if I use words to tell you, I will die or be sued. The fact that there's a connection between Haiti and the Mayo Clinics, I think, bothers me the most. We know a ton of children have gone missing in Haiti through the Clinton Foundation, and Monica Peterson died mysteriously trying to uncover that. I wonder how that connection ties in with Pizzagate. Is all of this about weird pedophilia, or is there also an organ harvesting ring going on with these stolen children? You can say that this is all outlandish, but I'm not so sure anymore. This many murders of people getting this close to solving it is not a coincidence. These are crimes against humanity happening at the hands of Clinton and the elite. And maybe now there's a small glimmer of hope that liberal attorneys like the Becks might have a small chance in hell to truly take down these sick Clinton, Bush, pizza party, organ-loving vampires. Beck was ballsy enough to declare war against Debbie in her own backyard. But with everyone who has been investigating the DNC and Clinton Foundation getting suicided this summer, she's pretty brave to stumble down the same rabbit hole we all have, using her research skills, discovering that Tom Brokaw, Cheney, Barbara, Bush, and the Clintons are all tied to a black market life extension. InfoWars is there to document her findings and her genuine fear of being killed. This entire black pool of horror is bubbling to the surface for normies to see. I wouldn't be surprised if Clinton and Debbie Wasserman Schultz try to flee to Papa Soros for immunity, but he's going down too. Everyone's going down. And this cat is going to be here every step of the way. Thanks again, guys. Have a great night.